Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Catskills once again, and it is a fall day, an early fall day. We're still in September. This is the last day of September. Tomorrow will be October. The Halloween season is going to be upon us soon, and we've had our third frost already. It hasn't been a killer frost. It's been a light frost. October is when the killing frosts start happening, and that's when the leaves start turning. As you can see from the mountain, the leaves are starting to turn. They are quite not into fall yet. It has not peaked. We're in the initial stages of fall, and some of the leaves have started to come in with their color changes. And each tree has a distinct color change. So we're going to go over that today. And we're also going to harvest. It's harvest time. So we're going to harvest some of our fruits and vegetables. Our first harvest is going to be our pumpkins. So I have grown some pumpkins for our harvest season. Now you're wondering about a pumpkin. Is a pumpkin a fruit or a vegetable? Okay, well, that's a good question. Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Well, you know what fruits are. Apples, oranges, pineapples, strawberries. Those are fruits. We want to know, is a pumpkin a fruit or is it a vegetable? So you think about that. And we're going to review that at the end. I want you to think about it though, or even look it up. What is the definition of a fruit? What is the definition of a vegetable? And then at the end, we're going to find out what the answer to our pumpkin is. Is it a fruit or a vegetable? Now, as you know, pumpkins grow on vines. They grow on the ground, and I'll show you my pumpkin vine shortly. Okay, boys and girls, here I am at my pumpkin patch, and I'm going to show you what a pumpkin leaf looks like. So here is a pumpkin leaf. It grows on a vine in the ground. It does have flowers. My pumpkin no longer has flowers because it is the end of the season of pumpkins. But as you can see, the pumpkin leaf is a fairly large leaf. This is small though, but it does get fairly large. And along the vine, it is alternate. The leaves are alternate. As you can see, these tendrils in the pumpkin vine are used for grabbing on things, these tendrils. So as you can see, a tendril from our pumpkin vine is grabbing on to a blade of grass seeds. See how the tendrils are shaped like a long tress of hair, and it tends to cling on these on anything it grabs hold of, these tendrils. So a pumpkin vine has tendrils, okay, and alternate leaves. And here we have our pumpkin. I've already harvested this one. As you can see, the pumpkins are, the vine looks like it's pretty much finished blossoming. The season has ended, but I still have these pumpkins that are not yet ripe yet. But I'm going to cut them with my pruners, and here I have a fairly healthy green pumpkin. Now, it does turn orange after a while. The back of it is orange, and all of it will turn orange and ripen on a sunny, warm day. So it takes some sunshine, you put it by a window, and chemical changes take place, and the green turns to orange. And that's a chemical reaction when green turns to orange, and that's a signal that it is ripened. So I've got one pumpkin here, and lo and behold, I've found another pumpkin. So here we have another pumpkin, okay? So I'm pruning it, and there I have my pumpkin. Another small pumpkin, not too large. a little shabby, I would say, but it's a pumpkin. So far, I've harvested about 8 pumpkins from this patch. Okay, we did have a dry season, so it was not, they didn't do that well, the pumpkins. Okay, so I'm going to put my pumpkins here and I'm going to collect them later on. Now we're going to visit our tomato patch. Here I have my tomatoes. Okay, as you can see, the tomatoes are finishing their season 2. Leaves are gently turning brown and the tomatoes are ripening on the vine. And what is better? Nothing's better than a tomato that ripens on the vine. Here I have these tomatoes. They could be plum tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. Okay, so let's see if it's edible. Delicious. Very good. So you could eat these tomatoes off the vine, and they are delicious. Let's look at our tomato plant. Sort of compound leaves, alternate along the stem. The stems are hairy, okay? They've got yellow flowers, distinctively yellow, pretty flowers. They are members of the nightshade family. They are related to potatoes. They are members of the nightshade family. They were once considered poisonous tomatoes. And it was very common. Old wives' tales seem to spread around that tomatoes are poisonous. And then one day, a citizen of the county took a tomato and ate it in public in front of everyone, and they realized that the tomato was no longer a poisonous plant. Now you're wondering, is the tomato a fruit or a vegetable? Now I'll have you guess it. As you can see, the seeds are inside the tomato. Plenty of seeds in here. Is the tomato a fruit or vegetable? You weigh it on your mind, okay? But here we have plenty of tomatoes, and it's the harvest season for tomatoes. Now, while we're at it, if you look across into our pond, you'll see on my life ring 2 organisms, 2 reptiles. Can you home in on them? Let's see if I don't get too close because I'll jump. Hello, boys and girls. We're returning to some wildflowers. I have a native wildflower, a indigenous wildflower, and this is it. As you can, if you come up close, you see that the leaves are simple, narrow leaves, that they are spaced alternately on reddish stems, and the seed capsules are along the stem. This is a seed capsule, okay? Let's see if we can open it up. And there we have the seeds. Okay, those little embryos are seeds. They haven't ripened yet, but they will. This plant has yellow flowers, okay? They haven't opened up yet, but they do have yellow flowers. There we have our pistil in the middle and our anthers around it. Okay, remember the anthers are the male gametes and the pistil is the female gamete. Okay, the flowers are in a whorl. This plant is edible. This plant, the roots are edible. All parts of the plant are edible. Okay, this plant is called the sundrop. The common name is sundrop. I do not know what the scientific name is, but we will put it up in our video, the scientific name. Again, this is the sundrop. The whole plant is edible, and it is a indigenous wildflower. Okay, this plant is the coxcomb. It's a red plant, got red leaves. Everything's red about it. Except I don't think this plant is poisonous, like the pokeweed. It is unlike the pokeweed, but it does have red flowers and red stems. Again, this is called the coxcomb. Coxcomb. And it is not indigenous. It has to be planted. It is an annual. Okay? You have to plant it from seed every year. Okay? And next to it is our spider plant. Okay? Now, if you look at the spider plant, it's got these long seed capsules. Okay? Some of them have opened up to release the seeds, which are tiny brown seeds, and it's got pink flowers. This one has white ones. Again, this is not indigenous. This is an annual. And this is called a spider plant. We're going to look up the scientific name later on. Okay? And it is an annual, a flowering annual. Below that is our white flowering ground cover. Okay? And let me climb down here. This is called alyssum. Very small white flowers. Very dainty white flowers. Seed capsules along it. This is a hardy. This can be hardy down south. Up north, it functions again as an annual. Okay? Some plants can resist the winters down south because down south the winters are milder. Again, we have the alyssum. Lastly, these blue flowers are called forget-me-nots. And that is the common name of the plant. It's called a forget-me-not, and we will put up the scientific name later on when we do our film. The forget-me-not has narrow leaves, and they look like they're alternate on the stem. They are alternate on the stem in the forget-me-not. Okay? And when we return to our alyssum, the leaves are very small, and again, they are alternate on the stem. They are also alternate on the stem. For our flowerings, and you saw the turtles, and you saw the tomatoes, and you saw the pumpkins. Now, how many of you said that tomato is a fruit? How many have said that tomato is a vegetable? How many have said that the pumpkin is a fruit? How many have said that the pumpkin is a vegetable? In other words, you're right on both counts. If you are a nutritionist, you consider the tomato a vegetable. If you're a botanical person, a person that studies botany, they called a tomato a fruit. The botanist will call a pumpkin a fruit, while the nutritionist will call the pumpkin a vegetable. So depending on what discipline you are, whether you are a botanist or a nutritionist, you can view a plant as being either a fruit or a vegetable. It all depends on your discipline. Nice seeing you guys again. We'll see you on our next adventure. Stay safe and wear your masks. Bye, guys.